Good evening and welcome to Buffalo Wild Wings here in Tiffin, Ohio. I'm Russell Snyder, voice of the Dragons, and it's final week of the regular season. Hard to believe, but we are here talking to Tiffin University head football coach Gary Goff here for the Gary Goff Show. Coach, last week of the regular season. I know we talk about every week about how the time just flies by when you're having this much fun, but my goodness, 1 week left on the schedule. It's really hard to believe.
It's amazing. I mean, it seems like we just ended camp not too long ago, and last couple of months have really flown by. Just got off the field, had our last practice. We do our senior walk, which is kind of always an emotional event, but we carry our seniors off the practice field for the last time, and it's just unreal. It's unreal that this time of year is here. One game left.
How emotional is that for the kids there on that senior, the final practice? Every school has every coach has their traditions, things they like to do, but it's just got to be emotional. Like I was telling you before the program started, Coach, this group of guys that you brought in is really, they were one of the first kids really to buy in and really just give a darn about the program. It had to be emotional. I'm not only talking about them, but probably for you and the other coaches as well.
Absolutely. I mean, there was, 4 guys that have been here with us 5 years now,
right,
and the rest obviously 4 years. But, some of the guys are, don't think about it. Most seniors don't think about it until it's right in front of you. And,
right.
One of them, I won't embarrass him, was like, Coach, I don't really know what to do. I've spoken to you almost every day for 4 years in my position, Coach, and now what do I do? I love you guys. What am I going to do? So it was kind of emotional for everybody. But you know what? It doesn't stop there. And a lot of these guys, when we recruited them, we told them we were looking for the 40-year relationship, not the 4. Mm-hmm. And, it always feels that much better. And when years pass and those guys are still reaching back to you and needing some advice or needing some help or just calling to touch base with you. So kind of a special moment for us. And, really this is in my career, this is only the 3rd place I've been at when I've seen freshmen pretty much work all the way through and graduate. So I'm very fortunate to be here with these group of young men for the last 4 or 5 years. Those
players, say, Coach, I don't know what I'm going to do now, talking to you every day. That's part of what you do as a football coach. It's not only preparing these young men to be good football players, but you're preparing these young men to be better men, to leave Tiffin University and just be a good man, turn into a good husband, father, all that good stuff. So, yeah, it is emotional for these kids saying, I see you every day, but that means your job well done.
Well, a couple weeks ago, we were at a home game, and Tommy Pritchard, Tommy Pritchard's a blast from the past, and he was on the sideline, and I come walking out of the locker room there, and Tommy grabs me and says, "You weren't going to say hello." I didn't recognize him because I had a haircut.
Right.
And I said, "Tommy, how are you been, man? Good to see you. How's the real world?" And he goes, "It's okay." I go, "What do you mean it's okay?" He goes, "Well, you get a job, you pay your bills, and that's not really exciting." He goes, "But, Coach, I learned so much from you guys." He goes, "So much of the stuff y'all taught in leadership and what it means to be part of a team." He goes, "That helps me out there in the real world." He goes, "And I really didn't realize that until I got out in the real world."
It's amazing, isn't it? It's amazing. I mean, it's easier for us to look back on it because we're a little removed from being a 20-year-old. So it's easy for us to look back on it and understand that, yeah, you don't think about those things when you're – because I attribute like a college-age kid as a dog. You live in the now, right? You don't worry about this, that, or the other. You live in the now. And these young men have, they've bought into the program. They've done all these great things. You talk about, learning from you and, moving on the real world and the leadership and things like that. And, the different things you guys do besides the coaching aspect, like bringing in the military guys in the offseason, different things. Because you are not only building these guys up to be good football players, but your goal is that every one of these guys turns into a great, valuable citizen when they're done.
Well, we want the same thing everybody in their family wants and the same thing the young man wants. We want to be very successful, obviously on the playing field, but, as important or maybe more important, off the playing field. And, I think instilling some of this, leadership role stuff that we've been doing in the last 5 years and holding everybody accountable, ourselves first and then our teammates, and that stuff carries over. And they really learn how to be disciplined outside of football, and that's what carries them through life.
And some of these young men, you bring them in as freshmen, and you're not sure what you're going to get out of them. And some of them you look at and say, that's a young man I could see being a leader. It probably fills you up with some pride seeing these guys grow into those roles and become these great young men that they are becoming. And they'll carry on after they're done at Tiffin University. But as you said, the things that you've instilled in them, not only as a coach, but as a friend, as a mentor, and everybody else that has a role in that at the university, it's a great way to help build these ambassadors, I guess, as they move on from Tiffin University.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about last week. Dragons got a victory now and improved to 6-4, guarantees you a winning record this year with 1 game left on the schedule, 5-3 in conference. I think you basically have locked up 4th spot in the conference. Nobody can get up above you. But Michigan Tech, we talked about it last week coming as we previewed the game, a team that nobody really likes to run into. They're always big. They're physical. They're a smart football team. And this past Saturday was not any different. That was a slugfest, 14-7 win for the Dragons.
Absolutely. We've had some really close games in the last 4 years, I believe, and we knew this year would be no different. And they've had some injuries and playing some inexperienced guys at certain positions, and very similar to the road we've been down the last 3 or 4 weeks.
Right.
But I couldn't be more proud of our team. We faced yet for the second week in a row a lot of adversity in the game, lots of highs, lots of lows, and we found a way to fight and claw out a win right there. And I couldn't be more proud of the team. It was a total team effort right there. And that's the kind of football we're forced to play right now. And we need all 3 phases of the game to be very successful right now in order to get a win.
Well, the first quarter was scoreless between the two squads, and Michigan Tech cracked the scoreboard first, a 22-yard touchdown pass from Garrett Young to Ben Hartley. And they took a 7-0 lead into the locker room. And, some things that happened on the field, some kids getting beat up a little bit, I guess is the best way to describe it. But what was the message you gave the kids? Because you came out and outscored them 14-0 in the second half. What was your message there at halftime?
Well, I thought we played a really good first half. I mean, the touchdown they had, their quarterback scrambled out one way and threw it all the way across the field. And,
right.
And their receiver got, body position on one of our corners right there who swatted at the ball. And, sometimes that stuff happens. But, I wouldn't say it was a luck play, but, it was pretty close to a luck play.
Well,
but
sometimes you say you better be lucky and good.
I thought our defense, played a really, really good first half of football again. And then, offensively, there's no secret. We lost our quarterback there, and that was kind of a shock to everybody for a second or two. But, we'd moved the ball up and down the field a little bit in that first half. We just didn't put the ball in. So when coming off the field right there, I just kind of watched our guys, and they just had some bad body language, something we talk about. And I think they were, not shocked at what was going on, but just kind of, wow, we didn't know we'd be in this situation. We thought we'd go out there and handle things right off the bat. But, so I told them, at halftime, let's come out the second half and have fun. Have fun, play with a lot of energy and excitement. It's not going to be easy. It never is. And, it's 7-0. Big deal. We were going to have to score anyway to win.
Right.
And then some good things happened to us right out the gate. I thought, Jihad came in and had a really good second half, but I think the third play of the second half, his helmet pops off.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up.
Yeah,
the third play, the 6th play, the 10th play, the 12th play.
Well, we joked afterwards. I said, what were you doing when every time you made a great play, you threw your helmet off so everybody knew it was you?
It's like the 1980s Miami Hurricanes all over again.
Absolutely. But I really think the spark of the game was Brock Fargas. Brock ran in there when Jihad's helmet came off, and I called a run play, so it'd be easy for him to execute. And he pulled it, and Coach Gilbert's on the headphones saying, not much there. No, wait a minute. Who's that going down the sideline? And Brock had been a perfect read on the defensive end right there and pulled it and ran down the sideline for 35 yards. That seemed to be the spark of the entire game.
You don't have to tell me, Coach. The way that sideline erupted after that 35-yard run was amazing. And then we come off he comes off the field and he's got to look at the stats. Be like, I'm averaging 35 yards a carry here, bud.
Give me more.
How about the football a little bit more? But you're absolutely right. I was saying, Jihad's helmet comes flying off, and it does a couple other times. Like, either he needs to find a helmet that fits him, or we need some new chin straps next year because that helmet's popping off quite a bit. But you're absolutely right. How important is it for a play like that? Brock took an opportunity and literally ran with it, and just the fact that upped your volume on the sideline, 2-3 decibels.
Well, I think both those young men, Jihad and Brock both, being a backup quarterback sometimes is very difficult. Because you've got to stay ready.
Right.
You got to understand the game plan. You got to know the different situations. And then on top of that, you're not getting a whole lot of reps at practice. Mm-hmm. So, sometimes that's very, very difficult to do. And couldn't be more excited for both of them because both of them went into the game when their number was called and did a good job executing and handling the football.
Before we talk about your scoring plays in the second half, let's talk about Jihad a little bit. How nice is it to have, when your starting quarterback goes young, have somebody who has been around the system for as long as he has. You're not going to have to tell him, to get in the right position at the right time. But having a guy who's a senior and knows your system and a guy you can kind of rely on to come in there as a backup, it's got to be a huge benefit for you.
Oh, it's great to have several quarterbacks.
Yes.
It really is. And the skill set between him and Nick are really, it's really, really close, So, we don't really lose anything at all by not having our number one quarterback in, because really Jod stepped in and, any given moment he could be our number one quarterback. And we kind of told him that all year, and he did a good job preparing himself all year with Coach Ely and studying film and understanding what we're trying to do in the game plan. So, extremely happy for that young man.
And Jihad will join us later on in the program here. Let's talk about his first touchdown pass. Went to Victor Talley from 3 yards. Victor had a pretty nice game as well. 11 plays, 78 yards, and 5:59. The Dragons tie it up early on in the third quarter at the 8:54 mark.
Yeah, Talley has really stepped in since we lost Charles and Tony, but Talley's playing the Z position where Charles usually plays, and he's going to be a lot of fun to coach for the next 3 years.
He's got the size.
Real tall, long guy that runs very well, and he's a football player. I mean, he gets it. He understands the game. He's a competitor. So very, very excited for him to get in the end zone for his first score of the season right there. And, I was just looking today at some of his numbers as a freshman. I think he's almost caught, just under 30 balls and now a score. Well, when Charles played as a true freshman, Charles caught, I think, somewhere around 30 balls and a couple of scores. So there's going to be a lot of similarities. I think we'll look throughout the years and say that is.
It's hard not to make those, similarities and to look at it from a fan standpoint when we're in the broadcast booth, just because they're similar in size and similar in ability right now. So it's great to see that young man having some big plays for the Dragons. So after 3 quarters, we're tied at 7. Then the 3:34 mark of the final quarter of the ball game, Jaquan Hardy, our other guest, who will join us on the program tonight, goes in from 18 yards out. 7 plays, 56 yards, 302, and the Dragons a 14-7 victory. And when you look back at this season, Coach, I think there's going to be a part of you to say, whew, thank goodness for Jaquan Hardy this year, right?
Jaquan he has grown up a lot.
Yeah.
Last year him and KB were in the backfield with Jerry Brown, and all three of them were very, very good players. But I think we all saw those 2 freshmen play, and even Jerry Brown has told us before, thank God I'm a senior, because I wouldn't have played a whole lot with those two.
Right.
Brunson had that early injury in the season, and he's been out, and Jaquan has really, carried the load. And Hunter's been a nice compliment to him, but Jaquan is what you want in a running back. He is very physical. He's very selfless. He doesn't care whatever it takes to win. And probably the most improved thing for him has been catching the ball out of the backfield.
Okay.
He has really worked on catching the football, because we want the total back out there, and the one that can run between tackles, catch the ball, and also be good in pass protection. And this season, you've seen him take a big, big step in all 3 of those areas.
And he doesn't seem really much worse for the wear. I mean, he seems about as strong right now as he. Well, from our standpoint, because he's tell everybody is beat up at this point of the year, but he just, he's like that Energizer bunny, just keeps on going and keep feeding the ball, and he keeps pounding it in there.
Well, I think everybody at this point of the year, their bodies kind of wore down a little bit, but Jaquan coming in at almost 230 pounds and squatting over 600 pounds, we knew that he could be a workhorse, and that's why you put in all the extra time in the weight room in the off season, because the season's going to take a toll on your body.
Well, you look at some of the statistics from the game on Saturday, the 14-7 victory for the Dragons over Michigan Tech. 24-15, big advantage for the Dragons in first downs in this ball game. No turnovers, so pretty clean played ball game, but you did hold the ball for 11 more minutes than they did. I know you don't put a whole lot of emphasis into the time of possession thing, but it's a team like Michigan Tech, that's what they want to do. They want to possess the football.
It definitely helps. It helps keep your defense off the field and keep them fresh. And, I had no idea the game was turning out that way either until I saw the final stats. It didn't seem like we had the ball that much more than they did. But
And then also, if you figure, you talk about your quarterback getting hurt, Jihad comes in. And as a team, you go 21-27 for the football game, and you got 3 different guys throwing passes, and you have a high percentage like that. It's got to be pretty all right.
Yeah, no, I mean, they did a great job protecting the football. They really did. Mixing it up with a run pass right there, trying to keep them off balance. And, again, for the second week in a row, the previous week we didn't get the win, but I thought we moved the ball up and down the field, just struggled getting in the end zone. This week was very, very similar to that, but, Jaquan, capped off the game right there with a nice run for the final score. And, like always, there was some missed opportunity here and there. But still pretty proud of how the offense has been executing and very just ecstatic of how well the defense has been playing and keeping us in those ball games.
Defense has been consistent is the word, I guess, to use for the defense this year. They've been on point all season long, and it's been great to see because like your first year in here, the defense you inherited?
First, second, third.
I was going to say. It's continually gotten a little better. Now we're at that point where our defense, you can see it last year as well, but right now, I mean, this year's defense is for real defense as I've seen at Tiffin University.
Well, we went down that road a little bit on on purpose, obviously. I mean, we want to have championship defense. I got a great staff over there that gets those guys prepared week in, week out. But, again, breaking in a new quarterback we knew would be a challenge. And, I think we took for granted for many years that Pipkin would get us out of so many different situations with his athletic ability, and we were scoring so many points. But, we knew we wanted to kind of build a great defense, and we were going to have to rely on them. And the nice thing is, we're losing some, great players on defense, especially some of the, defensive linemen. But we got a lot of guys been rotating in right there, playing a lot this season. So we've been deep at that position. But outside of that, we've got almost everybody returning on defense. So that's very encouraging for the seasons to come.
Well, you mentioned Antonio. We got real quick. We'll say a big congratulations to him getting his first playing time with the Montreal Alouettes in their final game of the regular season. So congratulations, Antonio. Hard work pays off sometimes.
Absolutely.
So Carrington Conti led your defense again in tackles with 9, Dijon Isbell with 8, and then a whole slew of Dragons right in that 6'4", 3 tackle range. And then offensively, some of the statistical leaders for the Dragons, as we mentioned, Jihad Vercher coming in relief, going 8 of 11, 47 yards, getting the lone touchdown. And the key when your backup quarterback comes in, 0 turnovers as well.
Absolutely.
Running the ball, Jaquan Hardy, 22 carries for 117, now within 80 yards of being a 1,000-yard gainer for your team this year. That's a huge number. And then Victor Talley, 8 catches, 65 yards to lead the way. Jalen Santoro chipped in with 6 catches as well. More of a possession-type game for Jalen. But, for only 14 points on the board, there's still some pretty good numbers there on the offensive side when you take a look
like I said,
back.
I thought they did a good job moving the ball up and down the field. We're really hoping to get Santoro's first touchdown. He was wide open in that first quarter right there, and the ball got tipped at the line of scrimmage. So we'll see. We got one more left. Maybe we can get him in.
Well, we got 2 guests to join us tonight, Coach. Why don't we go ahead and invite Jihad Vercher and Jaquan Hardy up here to the program. And as we said, this Saturday's kickoff at Grand Valley State. It's a 1 o'clock start. The pregame here, you're going to hear this Gary Goff show again at 12 noon on WTUD at tudragonradio.com. And then at 12:30, we'll join Coast Country WMJK 100.9 on your FM dial out of Sandusky for our pregame show. And as we said, the kickoff comes at 1 o'clock. So we got a couple Dragons here. And tap it now. You'll hear it. There you go.
We in here.
All right, Coach, introduce these student-athletes sitting to your left.
Yeah, we got Jaquan Hardy. He's a sophomore running back for us right now, and then Jihad Vercher is our senior quarterback. And both these young men they've been a pleasure to coach. They've both been competing all year long, and as you can already tell from Jaquan, he's always pretty fiery guy and ready to go. And Jihad has done a good job of kind of keeping him calm and feeding the ball last week.
It's the yin and the yang, isn't it? It's a little bit of the yin and the yang here. Guys, thank you so much for joining us here on the program. Welcome out here at Buffalo Wild Wings, the Gary Goff Show.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Jihad, let's start with you. You're a senior. Got pressed into action this past Saturday. Coach talked about when you're the backup quarterback, it's a tough spot because you got to be ready to go. You're one play away from getting out there on the football field. Talk a little bit about that when you saw what was going on and you had to come on the field. Talk about the mindset you got yourself into to go out there and perform for the Dragons.
Mainly, my main focus was trying to stay calm and keep my team calm and composed. Since camp, Coach has preached next guy up, and kind of had to stay ready, from week 1 to now. And so Nick went down, unfortunately, and it was up to me to get the team back going, get going in the right direction, and that's what we did.
How good did it feel to get that touchdown pass in the third quarter to get the Dragons knotted back up?
Felt great. The guys looked to me to bring us back, so I did what I had to do.
This week, is your helmet going to stay on? That's the big question.
Yes, it is.
That was uncanny. How many times did it come off? 3, 4 times there? Three times?
I think the second time I said, will you tighten it? Because, Coach, it is so tight I can't even get my mouthpiece in right now. It's not it.
I had to shove it in.
Wow. What do you attribute that to? Just getting hit just a certain little way where it's going to pop off?
One of my buttons was kind of loose inside the helmet, so I couldn't get my chin strap off.
Well, if you just saw him after the game, you would know why. I mean, one of them, he had a claw mark all the way down his face. He was bleeding.
Gosh.
I was like, well, okay, they ripped one of them off.
Scarface.
Wow.
Yeah, for
Wow.
sure. Scarface.
Well, let's talk a little bit about playing the quarterback position and some of the guys you have to work with here at Tiffin University. We'll move over to Jaquan here in a minute. But, let's talk about the preparation you got to put in as a number 2 quarterback. Because, like we said, you have to prepare like you're going to play each and every week. And talk a little bit about the coaching staff and the preparation that goes into getting ready for a week of football here for you.
Well, Coach Goff and Coach Ely do a great job from Monday to Friday getting us ready mentally and, with our reps during practice. Got a lot of guys to lean on. Quan makes it easy in the backfield.
That's what I was going to say. When you come in,
yeah.
when you come in that spot, knowing that you got some skill players like you got around you, it's got to ease the nervousness a little bit, I guess.
Easy. Like him and Hunter in the backfield makes it simple. You got guys like Victor Talley, Tyler Denton, Trent Stom, Jalen Santoro. Pretty much everybody on the offense contributes. And it's not really a one-set guy who has to do everything. It's a collective, and it makes it easy.
All right, Jaquan, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Sophomore running back.
Yes, sir.
How about let's talk about the season. You're within 80 yards of getting 1,000 yards for the Dragons. It's been a few years since the Dragons had a 1,000-yard rusher.
I heard.
You ready to be the next one?
Yes, sir. I'm just here to do my job and hey, I'm up. I'm ready.
Let's talk a little bit about this year. You know, as Coach said, you and Kyle kind of came in the game as 1 and 1A.
Yes.
You know, and it was a great combination. And you throw Hunter in there as well. We're like, oh, wow, we got 3 awesome running backs here ready to do their thing. And then Kyle goes down, and you have to really step up and handle the heavy load there.
Yes.
Were you ready for that? I'm sure you were. But talk about how you felt you had to prepare yourself to handle that load.
Well, to be honest, at the end of the day, it's always next man up. But at the we always just think about how you always got to be prepared and you always got to be ready to take the load. And especially Coach Gilbert preaches it all the day that you got to be ready and you got to be ready for the next man up. So that's how we do it. You just got to sacrifice and be ready.
The nice thing about him and Brunson is they really are great complements, and they feed off each other, you know. And that's what we had as a coach staff. We were worried about that when we lost, you know, KB. Right. And, Jaquan's done a great job of stepping up and being a leader in that position. But, you know, their room, that running back room is very, very fortunate, you know, not only because Coach Gilbert's in there, but, you know, Al Haynes really stepped in and became Jerry Brown, you know, with that young group. And then, you know, Jaquan every year is, you know, just the leap and bounds this young man's made, not only on the field, but as a young man has really, really helped. And, you know, I'm excited. We still got a game left, but I'm excited about the future because of the backfield we have with those young men.
Teammates laughing at you guys out here. What's going on? These guys
hey, couldn't tell you.
You mentioned Coach Gilbert. Let's talk about your running back room, Coach Gilbert. I've had the pleasure of knowing him for quite a long time. Talk about him, then we'll move over to your room.
To be honest, Coach Gilbert's the man.
I'm not arguing that.
Yes. I can feed off his excitement every day. I don't know what it is. I don't know what keeps him up. I don't know if it's the coffee. I don't know if it's his wife. I think it's his wife. Yes. It might be the brownies though. That's what I think it is. But to be honest, he's the man. He's the man. I love him. Love him to death. He's honestly like a dad to me almost. It's awesome. It's awesome.
Great. That's great.
See him every day. It's awesome.
Jihad, talk about your room with Coach Ely and the quarterbacks.
Coach Ely, he's a young guy, so he brings a certain level of energy to our room that, you know, it's unmatched anywhere else. Great resume. As you guys know, but mainly his mind. You know, that's what we feed off of. Coach Ely sits and breaks down defenses with us. He breaks down different combinations and stuff that we work on, and he makes it easy for us also. So it's like, you know, him. I don't know what gives him the drive. I don't know what gives him whatever it is, but got to keep it going.
Get a little piece of it. Borrow a little piece of it from him.
Oh yeah.
All right, you got one game left as a senior. How much you looking forward to this, and knowing that you're going to be the signal caller back there on Saturday?
I'm really looking forward to it. We've been excited about it all week since Monday. We've been talking about it in the house, in the locker room, on the practice field. You know, everywhere we've been, you know, it's been nothing but positive vibes and positive energy. And we're really looking forward to this challenge. You know, it's Grand Valley, but we're Tiffin, so.
60 minutes of football between the lines is all it is, right?
Exactly. Damn right.
Nothing else. That's all it is. Now talk about the senior day. Coach talked a little bit about it there during your practice this week. He talked about how it was emotional for him, and he knows this for some of the kids. Talk a little bit about how, you know, being a guy who's been through it, knowing the younger guys that are there on the team, and the respect they're showing you, the respect you're able to show back. Just talk a little bit about that, how it all works out for you emotionally.
Senior day is emotional for us because, like you said, we've been through it. We weathered the storm. We've been freshmen. You know, we were 18 at one point, and we know what it's like going through that process. And, you know, we always preach about that also, trusting the process. And it's really emotional for us because at the end of the day, you know, that's our last home game. That's the last time we get to play in front of our fans, in front of our friends that we see on a daily. And, you know, it's a good experience for us, especially having the young guys look up to us. But other than that, you know, that's pretty much it.
How about you, Jaquan, when you walk off the practice field for the last time with these guys that you know you're going to have to do battle with on Saturday, and they're going to be moving on into their professional lives after this year? How important is it to you as an underclassman to make sure your effort is there so those upperclassmen can rely on you on a Saturday?
Well, I mean, you got a point. It's real. At the end of the day, like, once you're done with football, you're done, and reality hits. So that's why I take every day as I can. I'm trying to be as good as I can, the best I can be every day, trying to get better every day, if not every week, especially.
You run a little angry, don't you?
Got to.
Where's that come from?
I mean, I'm offended that people want to tackle me. So, I got to.
You're going to hit me. I'm going to try to hit you first.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right.
Got to have the mindset. It's the mindset.
You got one of our linebackers looking at you right now.
Murtis knows.
Now, I haven't seen Jacob Murtis this animated with our guest before. I don't know what's going on here. Maybe a little something we don't know about here, but
a little inside joke.
Yeah, he's pretty excited to mess with you guys tonight.
Jaquan practices just like he plays in a game,
and that's why.
That's why. Well, that's why you've seen such an improvement with Jaquan, and we got some other guys like that too. But when you see somebody practice that hard, and a coach doesn't have to go get them cranked up for practice and to work that hard, that they got a chance to be somebody special, So
and that can probably be contagious too, right?
Absolutely,
on the practice field.
Very contagious.
All right, Jahad, let's talk about what you're studying here at Tiffin University.
I'm a business management major right now.
And what's your plans when you're done here at TU? What do you hope to do?
I want to go home, see what lies ahead as far as football.
Home is California, right?
Home is California, yeah, Los Angeles. But I want to see what lies ahead as far as football. Maybe overseas or Canada or anything, honestly. But
keep the door open.
I'm sorry.
Keep that football door open.
Keep it going. Play as long as I can, and God willing, one day I'll get to open my own business.
Excellent.
So. Amen.
Excellent. Jaquan, what are you studying?
I'm studying business and management. And I'm thinking about doing a double major eventually, maybe with accounting my junior year. But we'll see, though, wherever God leads me.
When your football playing days are done, what do you envision yourself doing?
Actually owning a business, either a 24-hour fitness center or either a restaurant. So we'll see.
Why not a combination of the two?
Are they going to have cereal at the restaurant?
Of course.
Tell us the inside joke, Coach. He's a cereal junkie. Is that the problem?
I eat cereal every day.
I have not seen him eat a meal without having cereal
every day.
Top.
Breakfast, lunch, dinner, cereal.
What's your favorite cereal?
Frosted Flakes.
Frosted Flakes. Shahad, what's your favorite cereal? Or you don't eat cereal?
John says, I'm 24. I don't eat cereal.
Yeah, grown man over here. Look.
I'm a little older than 24, but I still like cereal.
What's funny is I'm 22, but I like Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
So do I. I like that too. Fruity Pebbles is my favorite. I'll just throw that out there.
I like Fruity Pebbles.
All right. So Saturday, as I said, kickoff at 1 o'clock, and Dragons going up to take on Grand Valley State. I mean, everybody knows who they are. They're a good football team, and they're right towards the top of the rankings with the Dragons. And when you look at your offensive side of the football, what do you besides not turning the football over, what do you guys need to do this weekend to be successful?
To be honest, I think we just need to trust each other at the end of the day, because you got to score, and that's on the team. It's not just one person, so we all have to put trust in everybody. So if we can do that, we'll have a fun day. We just got to have fun, be excited, be the best team out there, and no mistakes. You got to be disciplined.
Chad?
I think we need to bring the juice. I mean, all year long we've been preaching quick six, and, that's our motto. And, sometimes we're there, sometimes we're not. I think if we bring the juice, aside from the trust, that's big. We bring the juice, the energy, we should be fine.
Well, we mentioned earlier when your helmet popped off the first time when Brock Fargas comes in and he breaks off that 35-yard run.
Yes.
Tell me what that was like watching that from the sideline.
Exciting.
I mean, the sideline went nuts, didn't it?
Yes.
Went nuts.
Going
Up
crazy.
and down.
They're trying to fix my helmet, and I'm jumping up and down, running down the field while they're trying to fix it. So it's
Crazy.
Were you on the field for that play?
I was excited for Brock. I was like,
He was the one
let's
getting
go.
tackled. We thought he didn't have the ball.
Yeah. And I look up, I see Brock. I'm like, oh, let's go, bro, let's go. Like, it was exciting. It was really exciting.
That's what we talk. When you get your opportunity, you have to take advantage of it and take care of that. But who gives you the most trouble in practice on the defense side of football?
Now, are we talking about scout team here, or are we talking about actual 1D?
Don't matter. Whoever gives you the most trouble.
It's a great question.
Or you just give everybody trouble. Is that what it is?
Hey, sometimes. But to be honest, that's a good question. Really, I couldn't even tell you. That's a great question, though.
Well, think about it for a second. Jahad, when you work with your receivers and they're working on the DBs and stuff, who out there of the Dragons you think is just a darn good football player, gives you one heck of a problem in practice?
I'd have to go with two guys, Carrington Conti and Dejon Isbell at safety.
Two leading tacklers this past week.
Two older guys. They know what they're doing. They know how to disguise stuff and hide it. It's trouble.
All right. Jaquan, you come up with?
Yeah, it's actually Burks, and it's Ty and Young.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, really fast guys, and they're always ready to get to the ball. So, you got to run as fast as I can, so trying to make someone miss.
As I said, the game's this Saturday at Grand Valley State at 1 o'clock, and Coach Goff is, as I said, you've clinched your winning season this year, and this is a season you can look back on and probably think of some of the couldas and wouldas. It's well documented. The team's very beat up this year, but you still got a great group of guys, a great core of guys, and it's got to be really exciting to take these guys up on a road trip for the final game of the football season. These seniors get to go play in a great football facility. Your underclassmen get to go play in a great facility, and it could be one of the greatest places, ever to try to get a victory. But, just talk a little bit about the last week of the season and the camaraderie that it builds, it's just a little different than week 3 or 4.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we've had a lot of adversity, and that's part of football. But, it was really big for us to get number 6 last week and ensure a winning season, and that was our goal. And, our battle cry all last week was get 6 for the seniors. And this week, we got a great challenge ahead of us and a great opportunity. And we understand that nobody out there gives us a chance, and that's fine. All we're worried about is Tiffin and how well we play and how hard we can play. And, we'll see where the cards fall come Saturday. But, we've got a really good football team. And I think if you look back, 4 or 5 weeks ago before the onslaught of injuries, we had the makings of a great football team.
You ain't lying. That's true.
And, we still have that, ability moving forward. And we got some young guys that have been playing the last several weeks that are going to be really good players. And, hopefully this Saturday it shows that now they got some game experience under their belt. They take that next step and show that they can be dominant players. But, I think we got a great program here. I really do. I think we got guys that have bought in and are understanding that they're checking their egos in at the door, and they just want to be successful and win for each other. And I think when you've got that kind of culture, built, then you got a chance to do some very, very special things.
Yeah, that's what I love about you young guys. The program where it is now from where it was, years ago, from when my first game was Coach's first game, and it's just awesome to see the way this program has turned around. It's because of student athletes like yourselves that are able to make that happen.
Yes, sir.
Well, Coach, that's time flies. Last one of the year out here at Buffalo Wild Wings, and it's always a blast doing the coaches show. All the coaches and players, student athletes, and others from Tiffin University come out and join us. And thank you guys so much for the hard work you put in.
Thank you for having us.
Not only for coming out here for the program, but it's not easy to be a college student, and it's not easy to be a student athlete at all. And it takes a lot of your time, takes a lot of your effort, physically, mentally, emotionally. So thanks for all the effort you guys put in. I know Coach Goff appreciates it. I know the coaching staff appreciates it. But from the broadcast team, I want to say how much we appreciate it too. So thank you guys so much.
Yes, sir.
This Saturday, 1 o'clock at Grand Valley State. Catch the replay of the Gary Goff Show at noon. We'll join Coast Country WMJK at 12:30 with the live pregame show live from Grand Valley State. Coach, any parting words here as we close out the show for 2017?
No, not at all. I mean, very excited about this opportunity Saturday, and very excited about the direction of our program. And go Dragons!
Yeah, we'll get together after the season's over, do a little wrap-up thing in the office or whatever. But that's going to do it for our time out here at the Buffalo Wild Wings in Tiffin. Make sure you get on out here and support Buffalo Wild Wings and support Tiffin University football. More information on TU football at GoTiffin.com. Well, that's going to do it. Have yourself a great night, everybody. And as always, it's a great day to be a Dragon. Have a great night, everybody.